Welcome to PAM Eastcoast LA. I am your host, Pamela, and this is episode 9, and I have the beautiful Sunde. Welcome, girl. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. You could be doing other things right now. I know it's early. Are you in California right now?
I'm in California, yes.
Okay, so it's early. It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9.
It's 9. So you just woke up and we are ready for grape drink, purple drink hour. So what do we have here today, Sunde?
I have berries, black tea with some milk and sugar.
That's exactly what I have, and it's in my M&M cup. So siniyasu, yasas everyone, cheers. You put milk in yours, right? I put milk in mine.
I put milk and sugar.
Mm-hmm. I put sugar too, but some people use cream. So
it's like too much, the cream.
It's thick, it's heavy.
Yeah,
it's me, I feel like milk is just right. And I actually use whole milk. So I don't know, is there like a certain milk that kind of goes better? Because I know people are very much into oat milk these days.
I don't use any of that type of milk.
You're about to say. You were about to say that. What are you about to say, girl?
That type of milk. That's what I was going to say.
I was like, you can speak your mind on my show. Baby.
No, just like, okay, like a side note, because I do have compassion for the cows and stuff, but like also like all those oat milks and almond milk, this is like such a boring side note that you can edit out, but it like takes so much water to produce that milk and to grow almonds that I'm like, you guys, it's really bad if you're a Californian to be like, you know what I mean? It seems like healthy, but it's so bad for the environment that I'm like, you guys are like wrecking things.
I honestly never thought of that. Honestly.
No, it takes like tons of water to like water almonds and to then make almond and oat milk. I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there for everyone.
No, that's okay. I love what you're putting out there because I never thought of that. That's the first time I ever had somebody put it in that perspective. Like, wait a minute. What does it take to produce oat milk? What does it take to produce almond milk?
Yeah, it's like just because we're in California, so we're obsessed with water. Like it's gonna rain this week, and everyone's like literally like putting water shrines up. Like we're so excited about water because we don't have any. So I'm just saying I'm always like, but how much water? Like, does that take water?
Because of the fires, right?
Yeah, because we're always like in a drought. Like even if it like rains a ton, like in 2 years, we'll be back in a drought.
It's really unbelievable what I see in the news with California. I mean, it's like what I know. I lived in San Diego for a few years, and when it rained, there was like 150 car accidents when it drizzled.
Oh, I know. We're really
like if it drizzled, I was like, everybody stay home because we don't want to die today because there's a drizzle. And I live in New York, and I'm like, winter storm. What's open? Let's get on the train and go. It's like a whole different mentality. Like a little bit of side note.
Yeah.
I read your blog in July 2018 where it was called Maria's Moscow Mules. It was on your DC jail.
Yeah.
Do you still make that drink?
Who makes it for me is my sister-in-law. She rocks those. That's where I got the recipe. Okay. Did you make the recipe? Because they're so good and she makes them so well. So whenever I visit her over in Marin, then she makes me like a ton, and they don't even give me hangovers or anything. They're like heaven.
You're like no cafe, but we're doing the Moscow Mule.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, what's gonna make me feel all right by the end of the day? A Moscow Mule, folks.
Yes. I've been in business for like over 10 years, and I make like cards, greeting cards, and coloring books and things like that, prints and things. And then I usually have always sold them wholesale to stores. Okay. But then like COVID happened, right?
Unfortunately.
And already stores were kind of getting knocked out by Amazon, but everything was sort of starting to equalize. But like with COVID, I was starting to kind of during that last year, like think, I kind of have to come up with a different game plan. So I've always had to hold my inventory. And I was like, well, it would be cool if I had a storefront because I could hold all my inventory in back and then build like a little shop in front and like get rid of my rent too and maybe make some extra money. And then I just called my shop, Sunde White Industries. And this space opened up in the building I already had an office in. And it was like this perfect size retail space, like super cute with like good foot traffic. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm just going to open a store. Like,
Yes.
I just was like, I guess I'm just going to have a shop now. And it's been great. I'm like totally in love with it. It's super awesome. I mean, I don't even have a high school education. So I was like, first I had a plant care business in my early 20s for like 10 years. And then I had,
what do you mean? You're not educated because you don't have the GED? What are you talking about?
I just like, for me personally, like, and I'm not saying anyone else should do this, but like, I hate school. I hated it. Like, that's just me personally. But I know like a lot of people love school, but from the way my brain works, like I love learning, but I don't like school. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I consider myself a lifetime learner. Like I love learning things and writing and art and like all those things, but I just like to learn it like on my time and my ways and through books. And anyway, so yeah, I tested out of high school early, and then I just was being like a skate surf rat, honestly. And I just would work like menial jobs and kitchens, and I mean I've done every job in the world, and that ends up sucking. More like overnight janitor jobs. So yeah, I've done like bartending and line cooking and waitressing and all those. And then I worked for a plant care business, and then someone was like, do you want to come take care of my plants? And I was like, oh well, I'll give you my boss's number. And he's like, he owned the company, and he was like, what are you doing like here? Like, America is great because you can just start a business. And I was like, me?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
He was like, start coming to my house on whatever day and take care of my plants. And then I was like, it just planted the seed. But like, it did plant the seed that I was like, oh my God. And I started to do the math. Like, I already am so broke. And if I just get a few of these clients, just a few, I could quit any job and just work for myself, and all that money goes in my pocket. And I was like, honestly, I quit my plant care job with only enough customers for like maybe a day and a half. Like I only worked like a day and a half. And then I could just like hang out with my dog. I mean, it was still like not very much money but it was more than what I was making working for people. I'm the biggest proponent of like working with your hands and blue collar, like allowing you into the world of making a shit ton of money. If you learn a trade, like I'm so into the trades, like my husband's an electrical contractor. So it's like, you can just come out of high school or no high school, work with your hands, learn a trade. And then it's such an entree into business ownership that I just feel like not enough people talk about it, because especially any service industry is like, you don't have very much startup capital. You just go out there and you immediately start making like really great money.
There are Fortune 500. You have chefs that never went to school. The greatest chefs in the world.
Yeah, chefs are the same. Yeah.
And a lot of people are not. And I'm going to love you for that. And that's why you're here, because you are more successful than most. You accomplish things literally from nothing. Yeah. You do things, you get things started out of nowhere, like with nothing, because you have an idea, you have a drive, you have that hunger, that ambition. That's what it's all about. Okay? And besides social media, because I'm sure you use social media for your for advertisement.
Yeah. I mean, I'm horrible at it, and I don't I just try to be post what I care about, and do a good job of supporting other people that follow me. Yeah. But I'm not I don't even understand how people have 50,000 followers, which is totally fine. But I don't know, you know how there's always a behind the scenes, you know what I mean? I don't know what's really going on. So I just try to just post what I'm up to and my dogs, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. About your life, about yourself. Well, people will pick up on that, and they feed off your energy. You know, right now I don't have a lot of followers, and I hope I do, but I want followers that really follow me. I just don't want somebody just to like me and never see the show or never really care about me, and they're not really in tune. Okay, sure. If I have 30,000 followers, then somebody might take me for real. And it doesn't matter if I have 100, 1,000, or 30,000. I'm going to continue doing what I do because I love it. and it makes me happy and it makes me feel good. So
Totally.
if whoever follows you, I don't know how many followers you have, but they matter. Those people really are in your life. And that's better than, for me, anything.
You know, for me, like speaking of social media, like I'm a big believer that it's really about what you're doing out in the world, in the real world. Mm-hmm. Because that is going to have the biggest effect. Like the thing that's most powerful is putting yourself out there, like doing fairs and street festivals and getting a following through that. Like so many people are like, even at my shop, people walk in and they're like, oh my God, I bought from you from the Coal Valley Fair or from this fair or from the holiday fair. And you know what I mean? And like, or like my Etsy shop, it's like everyone complains about Etsy and I do have my own complaints about them, but it's like, the thing is, oh, my algorithm on Etsy, it's all messed up. It's like, no, girl, it's like, it's not the algorithm that's the problem. It's that what happens, you have to put yourself out there in the real world with real people and really hustle your ass off. And then that gives you the Etsy. People come to your Etsy shop because they're like, oh, I want more of those cards. Or I love that ceramic vase that I bought from her at that fair. I'm going to go search her. And like that happens all the time where people go on my Etsy, but it's from, my main thing is my website and boosting my website. It's Sunde White Industries, SUNDEWHITE Industries.com.
There you go.
And everything I do is on that. And then that is like a portal into my Etsy shop. You can get everywhere from my website. Good. Which is nice. So I don't have to be like, it's my Etsy shop, because Etsy's kind of hard to find around and get into and stuff. But sometimes as sellers, we worry about like, oh, because they're always kind of mixing up the algorithms and doing certain things. But my main opinion is like, if you're just putting yourself out in the world properly, like, and advertising yourself in the world with real human beings, then your Etsy kind of takes care of itself.
You have your own blog though. Have you been blogging since like 2010?
I have. Like at first I just was like, I didn't really know what to write. But then a few years ago, I realized that I am a weird person who likes writing. Like I like writing things, and I have a lot
of. It's not weird.
Oh, it's not. I know, but I always like hear writers complaining about writing, and I'm like, that's so weird because I really enjoy writing. But I think they're just doing that to like brag that they have a novel that they're supposed to have coming out. You know what I mean? I try to just write how I talk and try to just be funny and be straightforward and be like, if I think something's like someone's an asshole, I'll just write like, God, this total asshole said this thing once.
Exactly.
You know, I don't have to like this
like real, like it's real, like it's real.
It's just like a nice way to take in things, and then I always try to illustrate it. So I just kind of started doing that just kind of for my SEO results, honestly, so that I could like build my website, and then, but also just as a practice, kind of like just to be like, can I write something every week and illustrate something and put it out? Like, and it obviously it makes you, anytime you do something every single week, you get better at it too. So that's why I kind of started like writing on my blog, like so consistently, just to like be better at writing and see if I could do it, honestly.
Tell me about your passion about surfing. Is that like a therapy thing?
I have always been like a board sport person, so I always skateboarded. I was like, that was my number one thing, actually. And but I also surfed since I was like a teenager. Like I would go out with my brothers, and it's just surfing is just so fucking awesome that it's
so fucking awesome.
It's
right?
So awesome. But I mean, I've been surfing like over 30 years, so it's just stress relieving, and it's really amazing and beautiful to be like in the middle of the ocean just by yourself with like full on like whales and sharks and seals and
sharks,
otters and like everything.
Sounds like fun.
I don't want to see the sharks, but I know they're there. I'm just stating that they do
like,
exist.
Are you the person that pets the shark like when they're close to the shore? Like,
I mean, I'm
scared, little guy.
I'm like an animal lover, but I am scared of all wild animals. I don't want to be near them. I want to, if I see them, I will be like surrounded in their wonder and like really appreciate that. But like, I don't want to touch them. I don't want them near me.
You're not that brave. Yeah, me neither, boo.
They're giant wild animals. Like one time I was surfing by myself. It's more of a deep water spot, and a large gray whale, because they come to that deep water spot in the spring to like teach their babies to like eat like stuff off the bottom of the ocean, and it's like a safe spot for them. Okay. So sometimes you'll see like gray whales, like, or blue whale, like whatever whales are around here, gray whales or whatever, like close in, because they're like teaching their babies and they're migrating and stuff. And one time one came right up like 10 feet away from me, like, and just its eye came up and it looked at me, and I was like totally by myself, and I was like, no, this is an amazing experience. And this, like, I was like, and we had that moment, and it was looking at me because you know, they're just as smart as us, and it was curious, and probably a she, and she just came right up, and I was like, oh my fucking God, is this happening? And then it went back under, and then I was like, oh my God, it's like under me somewhere. Like, oh, I was totally, and I was like, I know it's not going to want to hurt me, but like, what if it like grabbed my leash or like pulled me under somehow? And I know it wouldn't want to, but it's so gigantic. It's like a building horizontal. So I just was like, okay, I'm fine. That was amazing. And I just paddled in, and that was it for the day. I'm like, I don't want to be around. And don't get me started on seals. Like, they're totally aggressive and super weird. And like, I hate seals. Like, I'm more scared of seals than sharks, to be honest. They are.
They have
people who know
in San Diego. They have like the Seal Cove, you know, like a little area in La Jolla where you go, you can smell them even before you get to the beach area. And it's called Seal Coves. And it's literally all the seals are just, they stink. They stink. Oh, they smell so bad. But it is kind of cool, like, because you're high and you could take pictures. Yes. But they say never feed the seals because they will kill you.
They're like huge animals.
They're huge. You said they're super weird.
They're really weird. No, people who know, it's like sometimes there's lone seals and they're really like aggressive, and they're territorial, and they'll just come up to you. And I've had them come up and be like circle. They have like eyes on the side of their head. Like, they're so weird. And like this one time, like this one male was like aggressively circling me, and like with his eye on the side of his head. And so he was circling, and his eye was just staring at me, circling. And like, he was such a weirdo freak. Like, and then anyone else who knows seals, like, they know that they're like really creepy and weird. Like, they're really the lonely seals that like are by themselves in their own territory are really aggressive. I'm sorry that I have to break the news to everyone, but they're really creepy. They're so weird.
Don't ever apologize. I love it. You keep talking. Let me enjoy your conversation.
No, if
that is awesome.
No, if there's an aggressive seal wandering around the lineup, I will go inside. I will go out. I will get out of the water. I'm like, I can't.
God, that's funny.
Yeah.
The seal never attacked you.
No, but it was like circling me like really close. And my husband was there, and he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, I thought it was sexual harassment. Like, I thought that he was. No, I do. I'm serious, because I'm not saying he did, but I'm just saying it felt like that. My husband had to come.
He went and whipped his ass.
He made himself look big, and then the seal went away because he was like, "Oh, that lady, the lady seal has like a big male seal, so I'll leave." Yeah. It was like that. It was really weird.
What's your goal, babe?
My goal. I'm not really a goal. I'm like a general goal person. You know what I mean? So I just want to keep making art and I had an injury all last year. So I had a knee injury. And so I actually didn't surf all year. So I spent a year really fixing my knee and getting like, actually it was a blessing because I feel like I'm stronger than ever. And I feel like that wouldn't have happened because I kind of changed my way I train. And so I feel psyched that I'm like, will probably be able to keep getting better as a surfer like my whole life if I can just, you know, as you get older, you kind of feel like, well, your body just does this. And it's like, well, now I've learned, no, if you're training properly, like you can probably do your sport like almost forever, but especially surfing. So my goal is just to keep surfing, keep making art and putting it out in the world, and keep being an independent artist, because that's how I feel like I never get burned out as an artist, because I do it on my terms, and I don't do it for like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, listen, Nike, if you want me to like draw an ad for you, obviously I will take that money, but I'm like, right, that's not how I make my money. So I'm not like beholden. Like, I've just heard a lot of artists, they get burned out because they kind of are stuck only doing design work for companies. And I only have one small experience with that, and it's exhausting. And it's like, I've just heard a lot of
not happy. It doesn't make you happy.
And they're like the artists like here talking about it are like, I don't even know like what art I would make for myself. And I'm like, oh, that's like so sad. So what I'm psyched about is that even though it's been a really long, slow road, I feel like I'm like kind of, you know, you're never where you want to be, but I feel like I have a foothold now where I'm like making art, making money, making art, and making art like whatever I want to make. You know what I mean? Like if I have a bee in my bonnet about like robots and like whatever it is that I'm like interested in, like I could just like make art about it and sell it. And I feel like that's a success, you know?
I feel like that's an awesome goal to have, to be honest.
Yeah.
You just want to be forever happy.
Yeah. Yes. I think some artists get stuck in that trap where they're like, well, I'll do this now. And then in 20 years, I'll make my own work. But it's like, then you realize, because I've heard artists talking about it, they're like, by the time it's at 20 years, they're like, I don't even know what I would make at this point. Like, because they haven't had it be a practice for them, you know, to make their own art, because they've been doing it for other people, which is fine. But I just feel like I'm glad I don't feel like I have to be in that position, you know?
Absolutely. I'm so happy to hear that. I think that's the best way to live.
Yeah.
You're happy. You make your own decisions and you stay like that. You have your freedom, in other words. And I am all about freedom. I think that's, if you could live like that and still get by in this life and be happy in your home, driving your car, with your husband, with your friends, like that's literally what life is about. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, I'm very down for that. And I love your goals and I absolutely love you. You were a pleasure. I absolutely enjoyed our conversation. I want everybody to support Sunde on Sunde White.
Industries.com.
Industries.com. There we go. SundeWhiteIndustries.com. You can find her art, her coloring books, everything. Whatever she's going to create tomorrow, it will be up, right?
Essays about aggressive seals, sexual harassing seals. I've written about that. So that's on my website.
There we go. Read her blogs because I know they're going to be awesome, especially about those seals and the spiders. Oh, my God. And the white shark. Oh, or whatever.
Scary things. Yeah.
Yes. So, Sunde, thank you for coming on the show. Everybody, thank you for watching. Please follow Sunde. Please support her. And Sunde will do the same. Saga Pau.